It's Wednesday, and just look at this beautiful sky. This is such a nice time of the year. I went into town yesterday and got hopefully all the stuff that I need. And when I got back from town, I was super exhausted. So I just got the groceries out, unloaded those, had the most epic nap, and I haven't actually unloaded my car yet. So let's unload this car. There's not too much in there. Move it out of the way and set up a little workstation so we can get this cladding finally on the door. What's in there? What is it? What is it? This guy is loving the sun, aren't you? Aren't you? Yeah. Okay. I've got work to do, okay? You enjoy your day, and I'll see you later. This is what I want. And then I've got this little thing for the bottom of the door. It's a sticky yawny one, which I'm not crazy about, and I don't really like the white, but it was kind of the best of a bad lot, so hopefully it works okay. All right, let's get to work. I think I need 4 good pieces, full lengths without too many blemishes or anything on it. The top one looks good, so let's cut this guy open and see if I can find 3 more pieces inside. Fingers and toes are crossed. Let's hope this does okay. It's not looking good so far. In fact, it's looking very, very bad. This one. What is this? What is even happening here? I mean, come on. I know this is budget, tongue and groove. It's not even the budgetest one. It's €7 more than the cheapest one. And I'm struggling to find pieces I can use. So it's definitely not what I was hoping for. I don't really want these massive chunky brown spots on the door. I really don't want massive holes in the door. A lot of people suggested that I could make a sawdust and white glue mix and fill in some of the imperfections. But, you know, that's a lot of filling in. I'm not going to be filling an entire hole. Like, that's ridiculous. So I think out of all that, I think it's 10 pieces. I have 2 pieces that are quite good and 3 more pieces that are of a dubious standard. And the rest of the pack is pretty garbage, really. It can't be used in their full lengths. I'll find something to use them for in shorter pieces, but it's a bit disappointing. You know, at €20 a pack, they're not cheap, so I kind of would expect, you know, half the pack to be usable, but that's not really the case. So I'll make do. I'll figure it out, and I might have to do some repairs with sawdust and wood glue, which has never really been successful for me in the past, but I think that's because I didn't let it dry for long enough. So let's just see what I'm dealing with, get the pieces ready that I can get ready, and I'll figure out the rest later on. Pretty crappy. Pretty crappy. Pretty crappy. Medium crappy. I can use this, and I can use this. I'm not crazy about this thing here, whatever it is, but you can see right through it, actually. So I think I'll probably try the sawdust technique, but first, let me sand everything and oil the backs. Actually, first, I need to measure and cut them to size. No, I think this one's too crappy. or at least in need of repairs. So it gives me 3 to work with. Pitiful. So here's the door, laid out according to my map-like thing. The thing looks absolutely enormous. I will have to slice off about half of that piece, and I haven't even dealt with the other side, but it's a monster. Of course, I got things screwed up, and I thought I'd be lopping this side of it off, but it actually turns out that the piece is in the other direction, so I totally misplanned that. It's also quite bowed. So I might have a bit of a harder time finding pieces than I thought I would, but I'm gonna focus on the pieces I have in place and worry about the rest after that. So the next step for me, which might not be a step for most people, is to glue the tongue and groove. The reason I do that is because I really hate it when you see tongue and groove splitting apart. It drives me crazy. So the glue will help hold that in place. Plus, I don't have a nail gun, and getting the nails in between the tongue and groove part so they're hidden is really, really tricky, and it can break off the tongue and it just becomes a whole disaster. So if I can just glue the pieces along the length, it means I can kind of get away with fastening them top and bottom, hopefully, and not having to worry too much about them splitting apart. So the idea is I run a bead of glue into the groove part of the tongue and groove, squash the pieces together. I use the clamps to force the pieces closer together so they're a nice tight fit. I won't leave them on there for long. I'll take them off fairly soon, put the next piece on, and keep doing the same thing. Once I get to the door, I'll start filming again, but I'm just gonna get this piece finished and maybe get another couple of pieces glued together as well in preparation for finally getting these things onto the door. So I'm not massively excited at the prospects of moving this thing into place on my own. It's glued, but it's only glue, and it's pretty flimsy wood, so hopefully it all stays together. So I'm a little nervous about this part. So far, so good. I don't know, that seems kind of okay. It's lined up at the top. Let me grab the level and see if it's plumb. Plumb on one side, not plumb on the other side. A little bit frustrating, but I'll figure it out. So this is turning out to be quite tricky. I think I might make my life... I don't know if it's going to make my life easier or more complicated by adding a couple more pieces onto this thing. But one thing I definitely need to do is mark out a little spot for the lock to be able to pull out, and so I can get this piece in. And then I'll probably fasten this piece on to the main piece. And if I'm feeling crazy, I might even do another piece on that side too. I think it's sturdy enough to be able to lift it into place without everything collapsing into a pile, but that could be wishful thinking. I'm very curious to see how this goes. Okay, round 2. I've cut out the little notch for the lock. This stuff's been clamped and drying for about 30 minutes. Let's see if I can lift this into place. Here we go. having this thing off center and heavier on the left side is not helping me, but I want to get at least one side finished before I call it a day. All right, I'm pretty happy with that, actually. A lot more finicky than I was expecting, but everything seems to be. So I'm gonna have some lunch. I'm probably gonna stare at this the entire time, and then after lunch, I guess I'll fasten some stuff onto the door. Okay, I'm back from lunch. I have my drill and screwdriver ready to go. I've got some screws that might be a little bit too small, but that's okay. And my goal is to get this thing screwed up under the trim. So you won't see these screws. The reason I'm screwing it is so that I can take it off just in case I realize I've done something horrible. I'll also put some screws around here and anywhere that there's going to be trim so you can't see them. I also put a little piece of wood in here behind the latch. And then I'll add these guys, and this will have to wait for another day. This bit is a little bit too small for this head, but it's all I have. Okay, I'm happy with this. Let's take these guys off before I poke my eye out on them. Not bad. I've got a bit of tweaking to do with the chisel and the sander. Okay, these two pieces are ready. This one fits really nicely. Let's try this one and see what it looks like. I'm really happy with this. There's going to be trim on the front part, but you'll still see the side, I think. So I wanted it as nice as possible. It's pretty smooth. It's sort of straightish, which is great. So now I can fasten that one on and get this guy into place as well. All right, I'm excited. Okay, so it's a half a door. Well, maybe 2/3 of a door. I haven't screwed it in on the bottom because of the way I'm doing the grate. I need to be able to get in behind there. So that's the reasoning for the floppiness. I'll probably put another screw in here after this. And other than that, this is how the door will unfortunately remain, at least for a couple of weeks. Good morning. I have a confession to make. I was going to end the video there. I was going to leave you all with an unfinished door and move on to the shower and the garden and some other things. But I changed my mind last minute and decided to do this as a two-parter, so I have a little bit more work to do to get the final pieces of cladding on the door. As I said, I have some repairs to do. I was going to leave those for a whole other day, but you know what? It's not going to take me long, in theory, and so I'm just going to get it done, get these tongue and groove pieces repaired, and get them on the door, and then that'll be the end of this video. I'll keep the shutters and the trim and the other stuff for a different video, probably in a few weeks. I am quite eager to switch back into the shower, but I definitely want to get the cladding on so I feel like I have a complete project for once in my life. So I'm gonna get the glue out, I'm gonna get some sawdust, and I'm gonna see if I can repair these horrific tongue and groove pieces so I can finish up this door. Okay, so I've got some glue. I'll get the sawdust out of the sander. I've got my sanding pads, and I've got a little place to do the mixing of the sawdust and the glue. The tricky part will be finding some pieces that actually work. This piece is probably okay in its current state. This piece will need some repairs there. I don't know if I maybe just fill the whole thing with glue and try to chisel it away after. Maybe it'll be too difficult, I have no idea. And same down here. And then this piece, it's got that big chunky bit, but this piece is actually quite bowed. And so I'm not sure if I really want to use this one because clamping for this part of the door is going to be quite difficult. So let me see what I have. And it's not looking pretty. It is not looking pretty. I mean, yeah. Maybe this one. Yeah, that one looks okay. Maybe I put some tape on the back of it and fill it in with sawdust. I really don't know. Let me find one more piece and get to work. What's been munching at that thing? I am not impressed with this stuff. Not impressed at all. Nope. So this piece could actually work in its current form. I'm pretty sure the piece slots into the door this way. And that means that I'll be chopping off half of it for the end part of the door. So I think I just have a couple of small repairs to do with this glue sawdust technique. Let's see how it goes. There's no sawdust in there. I totally thought there would be, but I have some more. So I definitely don't know what I'm doing with this, so it could be interesting. My thoughts are that I fill in the gap thing, I let it dry, and then I come back and sort of chisel the correct shape, and then sand it all flat. So that's gonna mean chiseling or getting out a Stanley knife to carve out the groove. And I guess I just hope that it kind of keeps its shape. I'm really, really curious to see if this works. I think I'm probably just overworking it now, but I'm really, really curious to see if this works. I'll let it dry for quite a while and then chisel and sand. So I'll just crack on with the other repairs and I'll show you again when I'm ready to sand this all down and see if it works. Okay, so the sawdust and glue combination has been drying for a few hours. I got on with some other stuff. I planted some seeds today, which you'll see in a video very soon. I'm not sure if I should go at this with the hand sandpaper or the orbital sander. I'm gonna start, I think, with the orbital sander, and if it looks like it's shredding things up, I'll switch over to this. So I've got 240 grit sandpaper on this thing, and I'm gonna go on the most gentle setting. Wish me luck. So that seems okay. At least it's not a hole. I'm not crazy about the weird gray color, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. It's okay. So it looks like I've got a bit of finicky surgery to do, so I'm gonna see if I can get this done, and I'll show you the results hopefully very soon. I'm not sure how I feel about these. This one seems okay. It was a full-on hole before, and I actually found a knot from another piece of wood and sort of put it in the place. So that's okay looking. This one, I don't know. It's just turned what was a gap into a weird dark gray color. And down here, I don't even know what's going on. I don't feel like my repairs are fooling anybody, but I'm happy I tried this. Next time, maybe I'll go buy some wood filler from the store. Every time I try this sawdust sand combination thing, it always comes out a weird dark gray color. It's never anything close to the color of what the wood should be. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. If anyone has any suggestions, let me know in the comments. But I filled in the missing pieces. It looks okay, and I think when it's all glued together, it'll be fine. I must admit, I got totally distracted today by doing my seedlings, which you'll see in a video very soon. It consumed most of my time. It takes a surprisingly long time, as with everything. So I'm not gonna rush this. I'm not gonna glue these together tonight or put them on the door. I'm gonna finish up tomorrow morning when I'm feeling fresh and I can give it the full focus that it needs, because it is a pretty finicky job. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early, and we'll finally finish this door. Good morning. It's overcast, it's surprisingly chilly, and I'm ready to get to work. So let's just get right into it. Let's glue and screw and get this cladding on the back of that door. It's raining. I didn't plan for this, so I've got this one more piece to mark. I have to cut it lengthways so it fits. And then some screwing, a little bit more gluing, and then I'm calling it done. So now's a good time to have a coffee break, and hopefully the rain will stop so I don't have to do all this inside the house. Okay, coffee has been drunk, snacks have been eaten, and the sun is peeking out. There's still some gloominess over there, but it's dry, and that means I can head back outside and continue work. So let's get this door clad. I've got a few more cuts to make on this final piece. I'm hiding in here because it's windy out and I can tell that the rain is about to come as well. So I'm in a race against the weather. I'm going to finish this piece off and I'll check back in again from inside the house when I'm ready to put it in place. So I made the piece, I put it in place, and I'm not happy with this gap. It's not necessary. So I'm going to go dig for another piece of tongue and groove that'll be suitable and make a brand new piece. It should be pretty easy because I can use this one as a template. So I'll check back in when I have a replacement. It's frustrating, but it's just one of those things. I'm out here in a really lovely sun shower. I'm a lot happier with this piece. I feel like it looks really good. It's a nice piece of wood. Let's go see if it fits. All right, it looks good. And so I took a lesson from this. I think because it was starting to rain, I rushed. And it's a reminder to never rush. Well, at least I'm not a rusher. I do everything fairly slowly. Well, ridiculously slowly, actually. And that's just the way I feel like I get the best work done. So I felt pressure from the rain and I made kind of a silly cut that I didn't need to make. And I ruined a piece of wood. So slow and steady. That's my way. So I'm really happy I redid this, and it's actually starting to rain now. But fortunately, the only thing I have left to do is stick some glue in the crack and then stick it on the door. So let's get it done. Sadly, that was my last screw, so I need to go into town to get a few more to really finish this off, but I'm calling it done. I still have to do the trim, the grate at the bottom, the shutters, and the window frame, and I'm looking really forward to doing those things, but they're going to be more artistic, and I'm not really in the mood to just keep pushing on with artsy stuff. I kind of have to be in the artistic zone, and I'm really excited to move on to something else. So there will be a part 5 of the door series, but it's probably not going to come for a few weeks or a month or so. And I'm okay with that. I'm happy to have the cladding on there. I'm happy not to be looking at cork. And honestly, I really couldn't be happier with how this is turning out so far. I love how it looks, and I'm really proud of it. I feel like I've taken a long time to do this, but the result has been worth it. And I hope you've enjoyed following along in the process. I quite like this format where I start a project and do a video series sort of dedicated to it and try to work on it several weeks in a row. I don't know if you like that as well. I'm looking forward to moving back to the shower, so there probably will be a little flurry of shower videos, and then we'll get started on the tool shed after that. So I'm really happy with how this has gone. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you have any questions at all, just want to say hello, please leave me a comment. I love hearing from people. And thanks as always for watching. I'll see you in the next video.